what it is, what it does, what it is, what it was. It's your boy Lean Trucker, back with another. Well, y'all already here? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time. Subscribe, like, share, comment. It really helps the channel grow. Appreciate you. I want to talk about horror stories today. Now, what I mean by horror stories is that trucking horror stories, guys that failed, especially, I'm really specifically, to be honest, talking about owner operators that got a bunch of horror stories on why things didn't work out. I'm just saying you have to be aware of that. It's never cut and dried. You never get all the information. So it's kind of like they just tell you that they fail, trucking sucks, don't do it, run. They never tell you the stuff behind it. And that's some of the things I want to touch on. Is I want to give you from personal experience. Like, matter of fact, let me tell you this. I honestly felt when I started out, it was matter of fact, it was mid-July, end of July of 2016. By the end of that year, 2016, even I remember talking to a friend saying, "Hey man, if this stuff don't get any better by my renewal time, I'm out. You know, I'm gonna go back to hauling fuel what I was doing." So I really believed I was heading towards failure as well. I am not saying that everybody that failed was because it was something that they wasn't doing, they wasn't willing to try all the other stuff. What I am saying though is the ones that have failed, they're not really telling you the whole story. So I want to give you some examples of what I've experienced, not just say me, but just listening to people, observing, because we all been around these kind of people that I'm referring to. I'm not talking about the people who was doing their thing and it just didn't work out. Okay, let me talk about some things that aren't always mentioned. They don't mention that they went out and bought a truck note at $2,000 a month, on top of course, the insurance costs and all that. And they decide they wanted a brand new, smooth looking trailer, right? So they spend a boatload of money on that. Obviously, the problem with that is, as you're out here and your expenses are so high, we're not even talking about your household expenses or your personal expenses, I'll say. You're not even talking about that. So you overspend so much that your profits are negated by your expenses. And then you end up felling out. And then it's, it sucks, worst thing ever, et cetera, et cetera. Another one is, this is a very popular one. We all know people like this. Gender don't even matter. So here's the next one. You know that person that makes a boatload of money, that week or that month, boatload of money, and then all of a sudden it's like, big deal, I'm gonna take the day off, got some other things to do. Pretty much what happens is they kind of got fat and happy and satisfied with whatever that they made, and then they relax. So now your money is going back down again. Instead of capitalizing and growing, capitalizing on that week and trying to expand on it, you're now decreasing. Another popular one, they got these demands that they don't tell you, you're not aware of. Another example. Okay, let's say supposedly they agreed to do a Monday to Friday schedule where they stay out the whole time. They're gonna be regional. They're gonna come home on weekends. Well, they determined, well, I gotta be back home Friday morning by 9 a.m. for whatever reason, okay? And then on top of that, I can't leave back out of the house until Monday morning after 8. And by the way, I need to be back Tuesday night. Can't, then take Wednesday off. The point is, they're not mentioning all that time that they're not working. They're not out here trying to get the money and stack up and save for a rainy day. Only thing they're saying is, this sucks, worst thing ever, man, don't do it. These are the reasons why I'm saying, be leery of these people who failed and say how hard it was and tough it was. Get the whole story. Try to get the full story, because there are a lot of successful people out here in the trucking world, own operators, where they lease and own authority. There's a lot of successful people out here. Try to talk to those people. Try to figure out, what did they do? How are they making it? As opposed to keep listening to, as the old saying goes, negative Nancy. Because negative Nancy will only tell you how bad things were for them. The rates were terrible. Just on and on. I had problems with my truck every single month, which rarely happens. But anyway, had problems with my truck every single month. Not talking about the fact that they never took care of the truck to begin with. You see where I'm going? See, honestly, this is across the board. It's in all businesses, all walks of life. I'm also, if you guys are familiar with my channel, you will know I'm also big into the fitness side. It's the same thing. They say, well, I can't lose weight. I do this, they tell you everything they done. They worked out really hard, or they went jogging 3 miles, whatever it is, right? Like, I didn't eat this much. But what they didn't tell you is, well, on Wednesday, I had like 2 medium pizzas and some ice cream and cookies, or on that day that I said in total, I only ate this many calories, whereas like, man, I only ate 2,000 calories, but in truth, they ate 2,500, or they consumed because they was drinking, sodas and stuff like that. They only go to, well, man, I didn't get any progress. It didn't work. I did everything I could do. And that's what I mean when I say in all walks of life, the negative Nancy's. Again, there are situations, that's why I mentioned me earlier, that I felt like I was actually heading to failure. I really was, and it wasn't due to a lack of effort, but that's how I survived, because I did what I had to do. I ran loads that I did not want to run, that I didn't feel like they were worth it. But at the end of the day, I said, if I want to stay in business, sometimes being in business, you have to do things you don't want to do. I am not saying this means you should take terrible rates or none like that. I'm talking about a big picture mentality. Do what you have to do to get where you want to go. There are no successful people out here that didn't have things handed down to them. They don't exist. There are no successful people reach wherever you believe that they are without sacrifice, without that phase of, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. It don't matter what it is. People who got it from the mud, like we're doing, how I'm doing, how you're attempting to do, I'm assuming you that person, you got to grind. You got to work. You got to do things you don't want to do. You got to make sacrifices. Excuses get you nowhere in life. There are very valid excuses across the board for everybody. But at the end of the day, guess what? Excuses doesn't net results. And that's the bottom line. That's all I got for you. Keep it in mind. Stay on the grind. One day at a time. Salute.
Why you sleeping on us? Why you sleeping on us? No cap, we gon' have to make them believe us.